Morning, folks. Mike Rasmussen here, coming to you with my update from the Town Council meeting on March 6th, 2023. As far as our agenda last night, not a ton of big stuff on there. The updates for general updates, I think one of the big things that, well, not a big thing, but a fun thing, that we got notified is the date has been set for the police department's Easter egg hunt. More information will be posted up. They do a good job of putting this stuff up on Facebook and spreading it around, and we'll certainly send it out in the town tidbits. But that is going to be on April 1st. So if you are interested in keeping your eye out for that and doing the Easter egg hunt with the police department, you'll hear more about that pretty soon. The other is that most folks probably know I Love Smyrna School District Day is coming up. It'll be this Saturday. I know I will be there because both of my kids are singing at different times. So I'll end up being there most of the day. The town will have a table there. I think we're booth number 30, Councilwoman Gott said. And obviously lots and lots of other organizations and entities throughout town that are going to have tables there. There'll be performances. There'll be lots of stuff going on. If you've not been to I Love Smyrna School District Day in a while, go check it out. It's usually a pretty good time. And like I said, I'll be there for a couple of the choral events with my kids. So hope to see you there. Those are the only big new updates for things that are coming on. It is, as far as some of the ongoing things, we are in the town council election season. If you're interested in learning more about that, there's information on the town website about how you can sign up. You still have a couple of weeks in order to sign up if you're interested in running for council, I believe until March 20th, and then the election is, I believe, April 20th as well. So if you're interested, go on the town website. You can find more information about how you do that. Also, the senior tax exemption for this year, if you're interested in applying for that, you still have a few days. The application for that has to be submitted by this Friday, March 10th. So if you are going to apply for that and you haven't done it yet, make sure you go onto the town website and submit the application for the tax exemption for this year. Those are two big things there. There is going to be an upcoming meeting for the Dover-Kent MPO planning process regarding the intersection of Route 300 and Route 6. There was one of these meetings about a month and a half ago. There's been a survey that I've mentioned online. If you haven't filled that out yet, there's going to be another meeting. I believe it is scheduled for the end of the month. As soon as I have more details on that, but I think the original posting is it's supposed to be the 30th, end of the month, and I believe it's going to be at the firehouse again, but I will confirm that and let folks know in advance. So if you haven't attended any of the meetings, or you've been attending all of the meetings and you want to continue in that process, there will be another one coming up here pretty shortly. Other things to keep in mind, Chief James let us know that there will be starting to get some announcements out for Smyrna at Night for this year. The date has been set. It is going to be June 17th, 2023. We've locked in our headliner acts, as well as most of the other performers, and the general plan for where the stages are going to be and timing is being finalized right now. So you're going to start seeing some teasers and promotions coming out for Smyrna at Night, but if you don't have it on your schedule yet, mark out pretty much the whole day, 2 o'clock till like 10 o'clock at night on June 17th, 2023. It's going to be a great time. The other events, the Citizens Police Academy is about to get started. I think it's too late to sign up for that now, but if you're interested in learning more or doing it maybe next year, they will be bringing it back. I think there's a lot of interest and a lot of people enjoying that. So, and yard waste collection, I actually don't have the date in front of me. Yard waste collection is going to be getting started up again. It's obviously the season. There's people out trimming and doing everything. So you'll be able to start putting your yard waste containers out and getting those picked up again now that... well, we never really had winter, so you could have been doing it the whole time, I guess. But the winter season is over, and it's time to get into spring cleanups in your yards. So those are the little updates we had. As far as the actual agenda items for the meeting last night, we actually got to start off with something pretty kind of fun. As most people, I hope, know by now, one of the young citizens of our town got to be on Wheel of Fortune a couple of weeks ago. He's a minor celebrity now. So Caden and I came in. The town presented him with a little certificate. His grandparents were able to attend with him. It was really cool. Just a fun thing that somebody from our town got to go and do very well on Teen Week on Wheel of Fortune. So it's his favorite show, and he was really excited about it. So congratulations again to Caden. I hope wonderful things are in store for you. So, as far as less fun things on the agenda, we did have a proposed resolution at the last from the last meeting. I mentioned there was a proposal submitted to the town from DMEC regarding a proposal that the American Municipal Power Association was trying to get municipalities to sign on to try and get a federal grant to do modernization for information systems for municipal power systems. So this is how the data from the meters are collected and organized and tracked. In the end, the town has made a very large investment in new meters recently, both for our water and electric meters. We have pretty updated infrastructure, so it's not something that we're terribly interested in. So we elected not to sign on to this grant opportunity from the American Municipal Power Project. In the end, what they would be asking us to do is make a commitment to modernize our system again, just as we finished a multi-million-dollar upgrade. And in the end, it doesn't make financial sense for us to do it at this point. There will probably be a time in the future that it does make sense to make additional investments as soon as we see the system grow. But right now, we're not interested, and it's not financially an option for us. So we elected not to sign on to this municipal power project. We had a brief discussion about the town's process for sheriff sales. This is something that every year, especially as we see the tax rolls and the properties that are delinquent on their taxes, we have to make a decision about what, if any, of the delinquent properties are going to be sent to sheriff's sale in order for the town to attempt to recover some of its back taxes. There are some logistics to this. Obviously, it's a large legal process. There are costs associated with it for the town. It can end up costing, $1,000 or more in order to do it. So there are some properties. We have properties that have, $8 back on taxes or $45 back on taxes. Those are places where it's really not financially feasible. It costs us more to send them a letter from our lawyer than it does than we would ever reclaim in the taxes. So places where it just doesn't make financial sense. However, there are others where back taxes have been delinquent for a while. They total up in the thousands of dollars, and it's on us to make a decision about which ones of those we want to move forward with in some sort of collection. Last year it was we said every account that was over $5,000 delinquent we were going to send. Most of those never. I think of all of the ones, 7 or so that we sent, only one of them ends up in the sheriff's sale, because most people excuse me, when the demand letters come and the things start showing up and somebody comes and puts a piece of paper on the front of their house that says it's going to sheriff's sale, they turn around and pony up what they owe fairly quickly. So that process is going to be going forward again this year. Properties that owe over, I believe we said $3,000, we're going to begin that process with the hope of, obviously, we don't send anybody to sheriff's sale. That doing some demand letters and more communication gets people to catch up on their back taxes, or at least come to town. I mean, we try and work with everybody to get you on payment plans and things like that. The goal is never to try and, the last thing the town wants to do is take over somebody's house. But when it comes down to it, everyone else who's paying their taxes, it's unfair to not allow somebody else to get away with it. So we have to weigh the costs associated with it, the benefits associated with it every year, and move forward with some sort of a sheriff's sale proposal. So we talked about and instructed the town staff to move forward with that for this year. There was another discussion. There's a request from the Little League to have some exclusive access to the fields in the municipal park. We talked about this last year as well. The idea here is that the Little League and Little Lass, and then ultimately Pop Warner football, all utilize some of the town's fields in the municipal park for their practices. They come to the town to ask whether or not they can have some exclusive access to those. It was a debate last year. It was a debate this year. Nobody from any of those organizations showed up to speak to the council last night, so we did not have all of the information. To be honest, we expected them to show up since they requested this be put on the agenda, but they elected not to show for some reason. The request, the tricky part of this is that if we get another request, if we give somebody exclusive access to use the fields from say 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for 120 days or 60 days or something like that, we then potentially have to say no to somebody else coming along asking to use those fields. And last year there were a couple of entities that came and asked to be able to use the fields that we had to turn down. It's a tricky balancing act. It does cost the town money in order to, have the fields. The request from the Little League and from Pop Warner is to waive the fees associated with that. It's not talking a lot of money, nowhere near the cost of what it takes to mow and run the lights and things like that on those fields. But there is at least a debate about whether or not providing total exclusive access to one entity at the expense potentially of other entities that are interested in the fields is the right thing for the town to do. A decision wasn't made. We were asking the other entities to please come to town council and let us know what the details are so that we can have a more informed decision. And that will probably take place at the next council meeting. Those were the main agenda items that we had for last night. We did appoint a new member to the Shade Tree Commission, but we had one more discussion item or other council business or actually the public request. The Reverend Robinson, who is the Reverend for Bethel AME Church on East Commerce Street, came. The church there was damaged back in December when we had the sewer line failure on East Commerce Street just before Christmas. They had sewer that backed up into their basement, and while there was some remediation done immediately to help remove some of that, there is damage to the basement. If you recall, the sewer line collapse was caused by a contractor that was relining the pipes, and they overpressurized the pipes and caused the sewer line to collapse. Ultimately, it's not the contract that the town has with this contractor places the liability for the failure and any additional costs associated with both for first party, which is the town's cost, and third party, which would be any entities like the church that are affected by it. Ultimately, they're responsible for that. The problem is this is where insurance companies get involved. The town, there's a process. The town has to submit an insurance claim to our insurance company. It needs to be turned down by our insurance company before our contractor's insurance company will consider the claim. Unfortunately, the town's or the claim that was submitted by the town included the damage that was done to the church, but it was turned down just like we would expect it to be. But the other insurance agency has dragged their feet on doing anything because they want the church to submit their own individual claim rather than the claim associated with the town. It's obviously very frustrating for the members of Bethel AME Church and for Reverend Robinson who came in last night. They're very frustrated. It's now been 2.5 months since this incident, and they do not have the resources in place yet to make the repairs to their building. So, in the end, the town wants to and will, do whatever we can to help make the church whole. The problem is insurance is a process, and sorry for my friends in the insurance industry, I have no love for insurance whatsoever. Seems like their job is to make sure that nobody ever gets anything out of insurance. So that effort that they are that the church needs to go through is very frustrating. We are trying to have, hopefully today, our insurance agent can work with the church to expedite the process and at least get all of the submissions in. And then ultimately, town council is going to come back and consider this again in 2 weeks. But using whatever resources we have possible to try and move their claim forward so that ultimately their facility can get repaired and they can get back up and running as quickly as possible. It is never nice to have something like this happen. It's the reason why we have insurance, but unfortunately the insurance and the process associated with it makes it very difficult at times to move forward. So that was frustrating because no one wants to see an entity not be able to operate because of something that happened on our watch. At the same time, the legal process that's there is not fast, it's not clear, and it is obviously frustrating for everybody involved. So that's tough. We will come to a resolution. The town will figure out how to make this work, but in the end, there is a process that we need to help shepherd the church through in order to get some resolution on this. So those are the major things from the agenda last night. The next town council meeting is coming up on March 20th. I think that is the last date by which you have to register if you're going to try and run for town council. But that seems like about it. Not a lot going on. If you have not done so, I mention this all the time, sign up for the Town Tidbits, the Thursday email that comes out. It's a great way to get information about all of the things that I talk about, the updates here, as well as find out about public meetings and things like that. I see people on Facebook wondering about when meetings are and how you can go into those, and all that stuff's up on the town website and on the Thursday Tidbits, so it's a great place to find some more info. As always, if you have any questions, if there's anything I can do, please reach out, and hope everybody has a wonderful Tuesday. Take care.